Hello and Happy New Year. Happy 2020. And we have been on a little sidebar conference study. And we started with our New Year and now we're moving into, as I had promised, the Chinese New Year. So it's the end of this month. And we always read the same two books. We always read Clear Your Clutter by Kingston. So get it out if you haven't already and start reading it. And a few years back, we started reading Marie Kondo's The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And the reason we read it is to inspire us to prepare for our last of the New Year's. That is perhaps one of my favorites. If we have been doing reflection and evaluation through our intention setting for the New Year, when I move into the Chinese New Year, I like to have everyone put on what I'm going to call your, not your Prada glasses, but your prana glasses. And we're going to look through the lens of energy for the next 3 weeks, the energy of who we are and the energy of everything around us. And when we begin reading our books again and start to look at everything as energy, it has a way of changing what we're, for the New Year, I said we were setting these intentions and reflections. For me, the Chinese New Year then moves into a time of evaluation. So we're going to move reflection and say, I want you for the next 3 weeks to evaluate the energy in your life, to put on your prana, your energy glasses, and start to evaluate the energy of me, of this body, of my thinking self, of my acting self, of the containers that I live in, my Shala, my house, my Jeep, and then start to look at your relationship energy and the exchange that goes between you and the people that you love or the people that are in your life. So let's begin today's studies with our study of yoga. And oftentimes when people say to me, hey, what do you do for a living? Here you teach yoga. What do you teach? And sometimes rather than saying Ashtanga, I say, I teach a pranic practice. And what I mean by that is I teach people to move energy and to become energy experts. So when we study, we've studied the physical body, always the three bodies, the energetic body, and the spirit or emotional body. And what we understand is we really step into Ashtanga, we step into that body of energy rather than just this physical body of I'm going to stretch, I'm going to get stronger, because it's a breath practice. So we use Ujjayi breathing, and through the Ujjayi breathing, we're going to push this idea of energy on that breath, and we're going to push it around this container I call Dhyana. And the way we do that is by not just breathing through the nose or the mouth, but Ujjayi if I could give it a visual, by constricting my gluteus muscles, I have more of this ability to push and move around. So we study the vayus, which are the different parts of the bodies where we're going to use a system of currents. So vayus mean currents. So we know that this region here is prana vayu. I'm going to try to push by using my breath some prana around my heart and shoulders. Udana vayu. I'm going to try to push up and down through the throat, my breath, and samana vayu all the way through my spine, up and down through my spine. So even sometimes I like to use my hand as a visual for people to start to think when you inhale, we can feel like we pull energy up through the body, and we exhale, we can push energy down, we can move it around in circular. So the analogy I like to use with the currents and the vayus is a bathtub. So if I'm bathtub Diana and I'm using breath to say I'm getting hot water into my bathtub, if I'm just doing this breath, the hot water is just going to stay in this region. But once I start using the Ujjayi breath, I create this current like my hand that's pushing the hot water around the bathtub. And by doing this, we start to understand by this energetic practice of pushing energy throughout the body, it's kind of like some of the old sciences like acupuncture, Ayurvedic medicine, where we understand where we need to get that flow of energy moving. So we might use needles to get that electrical flow going, but we are going to use our yoga breath And then we're going to combine it with our physical body. So with our physical body, we're going to use poses like up dog, poses like mountain pose, poses like triangle pose, and each pose has a different pranic value. So if you look at Yogamala by Pattabhi Jois or Lino Miele's Ashtanga book, they all outlined not only how you get in and out of the poses and what was happening, but the benefits of the pose. So we weren't just saying, you're stretching your hamstrings, you're getting your back and your shoulders stronger, but we could actually look at the pranic value of how through each pose we're doing different things, which we have been calling the orange zone, where I'm getting out of habitual patterns of how I move and breathe, and we'll get into thinking in a second, and start to move that prana through regions of the body that are all throughout my system. So in yoga, we understand that we have how many energy channels, how many nadis? T said it, we have the magic number, 72,000. So it's like these electrical circuits of little veins that run through my body rather than just blood veins. My vascular system is immense. Could wrap around the planet a couple times. And also my energetic system is incredibly immense. And all this little electrical circuitry is when it's flowing and moving, my electrical circuitry is moving, then I feel vibrant, I have energy, and I feel healthy. But what we understand through the yoga practice as well is that when I have blockages, and why do we have blockages? Maybe I have blockages in my shoulder because my shoulder's been injured for a few weeks. Or maybe I have blockages in my hip joints because I sit for hours and hours a day. Or maybe I have blockages in my hip or psoas region because I had an emotional trauma that I'm holding in my tissue. All these create blockages. We call them grantis. They always sound like evil little monsters that reside in us. So when we do yoga practice, we're trying to keep that energy flowing and get rid of those blockages. So by reading Karen Kingston's Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui this week, you're going to look at, not only am I going to try to, through yoga, keep my physical body healthy, but I understand the energy of Diana is also an arm's length away from me. So not only am I keeping this energy healthy, but now I'm going to start to look at everything with the same lens. Everything is energy. This floor is energy. This room is energy. T's socks have energy. Books for sure have energy. And to start to just put your glasses on and read Karen Kingston and start to go through first looking at space, bagua. You know, what is the feng shui of this space here at the Wellness Center, at the Shala? And then we'll talk about this more next week. We start getting into bigger space when we look at the feng shui compass, understanding that then I'm contained in this container I call Capistrano Beach. And it contains this ocean we call Pacific Ocean. And we just keep getting this box bigger and bigger till we start to understand how we are in space and how we relate to everything in space. So what I'd like to ask you to do this week, we're going to study more next week, but just for this week, I would like you to start reading both of these books and to start putting on your pranic glasses and start to evaluate what is this energy of this pillow mean to me, this pillow I'm sitting on top of here. I was driving into work on Sunday to do this teaching, and this light that's between Laguna Beach and Capistrano Beach, it comes on and it says, slow down. And then it says, it starts to flash it at you, slow down, slow down, slow down. Now, the Jeep apparently is always going too fast between Laguna and Capistrano Beach because I see this all the time. And it tells me slow the Jeep down. But because I had my pranic glasses on and because I was seeing everything in my life as energy, all of a sudden I got this bigger message. It was like, Di, you need to slow down. No, really, not just the Jeep. You need to slow down. And I got this energetic message that it's my life. You know, for all of us, can we start to read things and start to pay attention to, is my energy kind of crazy because I'm doing too much? I'm too messy in my mind right now. And in our relationships, the great thing about Karen is she's going to start with a bagua, and then she's going to go through your closet, your shoes, and then we go into your relationships, and we get to the very end of it, we get to your colon. You know, so I love that. We're going to evaluate everything over the next 3 weeks. And then I want you to pick up your Marie Kondo book at the same time. The thing I love about Marie is she breaks it down to something incredibly simple. She said, we should be surrounded by what brings us joy. and what we love. And so if we're evaluating right now for the new year, we're going to use this as an evaluation tool to say, do I love this book? This book has brought a lot of good information to me, so I'm going to keep this on my shelf for another year because I'm going to read it again next year. And I do the same with my shoes and with my glasses, and I start to evaluate things in my life that whether or not I love them, and this process of grantis, this process of letting go of what doesn't serve us, what's creating energy blockages in our life beyond just our body, by keeping things that keep us stuck rather than the freedom, this feeling of liberation to let them go. So that's just the beginning. Pranic glasses, looking at everything as energy, beginning to see what maybe is keeping you stuck, what you're really ready to let go of. Our quote from Marie this week: we should be choosing what we want to keep and not what we want to get rid of. I love that. Surround yourself with who and what you love. Energy is everything this week. Take time to evaluate the energy around you in your life, your body, emotions, relationships, and aspects of relationships. And have fun with this. This is a time of year that I feel is very freeing and liberating. And I welcome all of you to join us for the next 3 weeks as we're going to continue this study of prana.